Hiya! Welcome! Something of a different unboxing I'm going to do with you today, as I've got a big box full of Blu-rays here. There's a Blu-ray box set within there and I think 5 movies. Now, even though I've bought a fair amount of films this year, probably the most I've bought for years really, in a relatively short space of time, I don't tend to show them on videos. I have done in the past. I've occasionally, when there's been like a sale on or some sort of really good deal or just something that I've added to my collection that I'm really proud of, then I've done a video showing you what I've got. But as you know, it's mostly about the music here on this channel, at least these days. But I'm still a Blu-ray collector. I still love discovering films that I've never seen before, and that's the purpose of this unboxing of these 8 films. I think I've counted that right. We'll go through them to see as we get it open. So this is an order placed at powerhousefilms.co.uk, and they're a company that I have used before, and I've also bought their products elsewhere. And I'll get into an example of that as we go through these films in here. But they announced their Halloween sale recently. It might still be going on by the time this video's out, because I'm going to try and get this video up fairly quickly after filming. But even if the Halloween sale itself isn't going by the time you're watching this, I still urge you to check out powerhousefilms.co.uk. Just some really interesting cinematic work from, well, the 1950s at least. There might even be films earlier than that, all the way up till near the present day. I think all the films I've got are from sort of the 70s to the 90s. Maybe there might be one in the 2000s. I've actually forgotten a lot of what I've ordered. I know what the box set is in here. It had £10 off and it's one I've been wanting to get for a while. But we'll get onto that and we'll talk about each of them individually. But this box of goodies here cost me £49.99, free postage. It's generally free postage for any order over £50, but what I like about Powerhouse is that when I checked my order, they were offering me free postage at a penny under, which a lot of websites I've used, if you got to get to a certain free postage threshold, you would have to order something else. So there's, what, 5 films in here that cost me £5 each, and it's all brand new and sealed stuff, by the way. I was expecting that I might have to go back to the sale listing and look for another movie to put in my basket, which wouldn't have been a hardship because I'm sure I would have found another one that I'd want, but as it happened, £49.99, they gave me free postage anyway. So let's get this open. So 8 films for £50, that's working out, what, £6.25-ish per film. Although, like I say, one of them is a £25 box set, so you can't really work it out like that. But then there's 5 individual Blu-rays here for £5. I'm just going to take these from the top, I think. I say that, but everything's sort of on its side, so I might not be able to do that. I'll just show you. There's air pockets, more air pockets, and plenty of bubble wrap, so really nicely packaged here. I think I will get this box set out first, actually, and then we'll look at the individual movies afterwards. So this here is the 3-film set that was reduced from £35 to £25. Actually, it's the box set and it's one of the individual films. They've wrapped that with this. So I'll just put that one down for a second. Yeah, this was the main thing for me that I wanted. Now, this set, I'd actually ordered it from HMV ages ago, and it was one of HMV's things where you could buy it or you could order it, but it said back in stock soon, and this has happened to me before for Blu-rays and for records at HMV, where they send you an email every so often just to let you know we're still waiting for it to come back in stock, but then eventually they say we're not getting it back in stock, either here's a refund, or if your payment hasn't been triggered then we'll just cancel the thing, so it doesn't cost you anything. So I thought, oh well, that's a bit of a shame that I couldn't get it from HMV because it was free postage there. But when I saw it go up for sale with £10 off at the Indicator movie sale at Powerhouse, I had to get Stanley Long's Sex Adventures. So it's a trilogy of 70s sex comedies. Younger viewers might be wondering, a sex comedy? What's this old boomer on about? But I've never seen any of these. In fact, I think the entirety of this order is blind buys, to be honest. But I wanted this mainly because, also from HMV ages ago, I purchased the Confessions of Indicator Blu-ray box set, which looks very similar to this. It was £50 that, and it was a new release as well this year. This one I think's been out about a year or so. I bought that, and it's a limited edition thing. This is also a limited edition of only 6,000. You can see my number on the bottom there. In case you can't, I'll read it out. It's 5,011, I think. Or is that an 8? That's either an 8 or a 0, but I think it's a 0. So this has got 3 movies in it. I'm not going to get it unwrapped, even though there's some nice extras in relation to the book, really. But it has this belly band around the bottom with some nice artwork of the original film posters on the other side. It tells you all the extras that are in each of the 3 Blu-ray discs in this set, which is a lot. I'm not even going to go through all those. But the films are Adventures of a Taxi Driver, Adventures of a Private Eye, and Adventures of a Plumber's Mate, all, I think, either written or directed by Stanley Long, possibly both. I think he's the director. Apologies if I'm getting that wrong, so I'm no expert. Never seen these before, but I enjoyed the Confessions of series. That has got stuff in it like Confessions of a Window Cleaner, Confessions of a Pop Star, Confessions from a Holiday Camp. Yeah, by the 4th one, they'd really run out of ideas, well and truly, but just for 90 minutes of smut and kind of non-politically correct, bawdy British comedy, you know, they were like a real sort of window into the fairly recent past, those confession films. Robin Asquith was the lead character in all of those. I think they're more well known than these Adventures ones, but because I've got that particular sex comedy film set, I did want to get this one, even though this one was released quite some time before. Really happy to have got that for £25, so £10 cheaper than what it normally is. There's only 6,000 of them, so they will go out of stock eventually. But if you want one of these at the reduced price, then go and check Powerhouse. But as I said earlier, the Halloween sale itself might be over by now. But it's still worth having a browse on the site, because as you're going to see in a moment, they have got such an amazing choice of films. This, of course, is in the Indicator series, that is sort of like the banner name, the banner umbrella for all of Powerhouse's Blu-ray output. That's the Stanley Long box set. Right, the other one that was wrapped up with the box set was this film, Fatherland. I think I'm going to have to put my glasses on now, because I want to do a little bit of reading for some of these individual films. So all these individual movies here were £5 each. They had like a 3 for £15 offer within the Halloween sale. Normally they've got a permanent 3 for £20 offer running, and I've used the site for that before, for stuff that I bought earlier this year. But 3 for £15, but I was adding more than 3, and it was just letting me have each subsequent basket edition for £5 thereafter. So really, really good value, and some of these are meant to be the limited edition ones that came out as well, rather than the standard editions. This one does say it's one of the limited editions, actually. I think all that means, really, it's still got the same amount of extras on the disc, but it comes with a nice booklet. I've got some of the standard edition films that I bought a few months ago, and there's no booklet, but I think everything else is pretty much the same. Anyway, this is Fatherland. It's a Ken Loach film, originally made in 1986. It's a UK, West Germany, France production. There's no real sort of synopsis of it. I mean, you can go and look up what this film's about. You can imagine sort of the era it was made and the countries that produced it. It's basically a Cold War thriller, and there's been a couple of different films called Fatherland, so that's something else just to be mindful of, that you're actually looking up about the right one. But the one you need to look up is the Ken Loach Fatherland. This is apparently a limited edition of 3,000 copies. but I don't know if it's individually numbered. It doesn't seem to be, unless it's individually numbered on the inside. Just to keep this video moving along, I'm not going to get any of these unwrapped. I am so interested in the Cold War, you know, anything that sort of happened, well, before World War II in mainland Europe and the UK obviously, but after World War II up till the fall of the Berlin Wall. I've been reading books about the Cold War and about the construction, then destruction of the Berlin Wall. I just love that European history from the 20th century. It's fascinating to me. So this was a no-brainer to get this for £5. And I've seen Ken Loach films before. The most recent one of his I saw was I, Daniel Blake, which was a real moving indictment of the British benefit system. Really happy to have got that. So there will be 4 more in this bundle here. I'm excited because, as I say, most of these I've actually forgotten exactly what I ordered. Some of these are pretty impulsive, I think, but I don't see why I won't enjoy them. I mean, they're all impulsive to an extent because I've never seen them before. Or I don't think I've seen any of them before. Next one is An Unsuitable Job for a Woman. There again, in the Indicator series, they've always got this sort of rainbow banner at the top. I think this is like a crime thriller. In fact, it's possibly based on a novel. Yeah, from the novel by P.D. James. And it stars Billy Whitelaw, Paul Freeman and Pippa Gard. From 1982, UK film. This is another one of the limited editions, and this was limited to 2,000 copies here in the UK. Now then, what Powerhouse / Indicator tend to do, they release films like this and Fatherland as a limited edition of only so many units, so many copies, and then it'll get a re-release as a standard edition. Blu-rays every time. I don't think they'd actually do normal DVDs anymore. The standard edition, obviously there's no limit on how many they've produced. It's cheaper, unless there's a sale. It's cheaper than the limited edition, and chances are you'd be able to pick some of those up in the 3 for £20 offer at the website anyway. Unsuitable Job for a Woman, I've heard of it. I've heard of the book. It lists loads of extras. I think all of these should have subtitles on as well, if you like subtitles. I do, even though I don't consider myself deaf. I'm a little bit hard of hearing, but even if I wasn't, I do like subtitles for a lot of things. It just helps me follow the story a bit more, but I know some people don't like subtitles, hence why it's good that they're an option to turn on or off. So that is that one. Next one is, this feels like a standard edition because it's a lot lighter, so there won't be any booklet in here. So this is the standard edition of Devil in a Blue Dress. Now, I wasn't familiar with this whatsoever. As you can see, it stars Denzel Washington. It's a USA film, unsurprisingly, from 1995. The bump on the back says Private Detective Easy Rawlins has been caught on the wrong side of the most dangerous secret in town. I think this is like a noir crime type of deal with thriller elements. I can't really speak too much about any of these because, you know, I was just adding stuff to my basket that was cheap and that I wanted to try out, and anything that looked even halfway decent I added. Who else is in this? Tom Sizemore, Jennifer Beals, Don Cheadle. It's directed by Carl Franklin. There again, £5, regardless of the fact of whether it was a limited edition or a standard edition. It was just something that was that low priced, and as you can see, brand new and still in its cellophane. If anyone has watched any of these films before, by the way, and wants to let me know whether you think they're great or okay or crap, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Just obviously, please don't give me any major spoilers for any of these, especially the sex comedies. Come on, I can give you a spoiler for those. They're going to feature a lot of female breasts. That's what I enjoy it the most. Penultimate one. This feels like another standard edition. This one looks like it might be one of the older films out of the range I've bought as well. Older as in when it was originally released. I don't know when the Blu-rays specifically came out. Apart from that, Sex Comedies one I think was 2023. But this one is Endless Night. It says victim or killer, only 3 people in 100 guess the answer to Endless Night. Yeah, psychological thriller, I'm guessing here. Now it's a production of an Agatha Christie book. I nearly said that about The Unsuitable Job for a Woman, and then I looked and it was P.D. James. So that's going to be like a murder mystery, and this is, I think, because when you say Agatha Christie, you think murder mystery, don't you? So the people who star in this are Hayley Mills, Howell Bennett, Britt Eklund, some big names of the time there, George Sanders, Per Oscarson, and it's written and directed by Sidney Gilliat, based on a novel by Agatha Christie. Can't say any more about most of these, really. I'm looking forward to getting into them. You know, there's going to be some good Christmas viewing here, because I don't sort of watch loads and loads of films and nothing else. You know, I watch a lot of TV series, stuff that comes up on Netflix, like true crime documentaries. I re-watch stuff that I love. I've only just this past day finished re-watching Breaking Bad for the umpteenth time, and I'm going to do the El Camino spin-off film and Better Call Saul again at some point, whether they'll be before the new year or after, I'm not sure. Right, final one, and I think this is another of the limited editions, so these are even better value at £5 than the standard editions, and you know, to get a real good film with a load of extras, sometimes a nice booklet with lots of stuff to read as well, for a £5, you can't go wrong, really. This has been one of the best sales I've seen since the old Network DVD days. Network DVD, and I have done 1 or 2 videos about them in the dim and distant past, were for me the best company for British television in particular. They sold a lot of British films as well on DVD and to a lesser extent Blu-ray, but when they went bust, what, nearly 2 years ago now, heartbreaking really. I've bought so much classic British comedy from Network. I still want to do more videos about my comedy collection. I've touched upon my British comedy, you know, sitcoms basically, but also sketch shows. I've touched upon my collection in videos in the past, but I wanted to do like a proper continuing series, and I just never could quite get a handle on how I wanted to do it in my head. But that might be something that I need to think about once more and try and start in 2025. Anyway, last one is Resurrected. Oh, that is a grim looking scene that's on the front, isn't it? Yeah, this one is going to be another sort of psychological drama. Apart from the sex comedies, I don't think there's much in the way of belly laughs here. It's all going to be quite sort of, you know, either crime or just kind of war and thrillers and things like that. But this is a 1989 film. Sorry, did I say what year The Endless Night was? That was a UK film from 1972, by the way. This one, 1989, UK. It's directed by Paul Greengrass. It might have been his directorial debut. A very well-known and well-respected British director, like Ken Loach, I suppose, only younger. This was a limited edition of 3,000 copies. You can basically tell it's the limited edition just by picking it up, because there's just so much more weight to them compared to the standard editions. But regardless, I didn't care which of these were limited, which of these were standard. They're all £5 each, and it's an absolute bargain to me. Who's in this? Tom Bell, Rita Tushingham, David Thewlis, Rudy Davis. I'll read the bump at the top. June 14th, 1982, the Falklands. Private Kevin Deakin missing, presumed dead. 49 days later, he came back. That was his crime. Well, you've hooked me just with those few sentences. I'm made up. I mean, £50. You know, I spent £50 on the Confessions box set from this company, although I think that was actually an order from HMV that was fulfilled. You know, I spent that alone on a box set for 4 films, and look, I've got 8 here, $49.99. These are going to be doing me till probably the new year at least, because as I say, there's other stuff that I'm watching that comes around, gets released on streaming services, things like that. Do let me know what you think of this bundle. There was so much choice. You know, this is just a dip in the ocean, really, as to what you could get. A lot of older stuff, a lot of foreign stuff, you know. There's Mexican films there, you know, kind of campy Mexican cinema. I think they ship worldwide because they also release special US editions, which I think are identical, but essentially, like, they don't have the BBFC classifications on them, but everything's region free as well, as far as I know, these Blu-rays. So if you did happen to get a UK edition, if you lived in the US, I think, although please check first, but I think they would play regardless of where you are in the world. But anyway, go on the website, powerhousefilms.co.uk, see if the sale's still running. If it isn't, then they will still have their 3 for £20 offer, and they're always adding new standard editions to that. And just browse that section, certainly, and all the other sections. They've got some other interesting box sets as well, nothing that I particularly wanted, but if you're a cinema buff, you know, 20th century cinema from the kind of 1950s onwards, certainly, then I'm certain there'll be something that you'll find of interest. Brilliant company, Powerhouse / Indicator, and I think all these 8 films, £49.99, was a steal, really. A great Halloween sale there from a website I've now used. That's only the second time I've used that website, but I have bought their products at HMV as well in the past. Right, there we go. Well, that video's actually gone on longer than I expected to, but I was just so excited about getting all these movies here, I couldn't stop myself from talking about them. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this slightly different video to the usual record roundups and box set unboxings and things like that. Special thanks goes to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now, and what else, but I'm going to get cracking into all these great films here. What should I start with first? Perhaps the Sex Comedies box set. Well, for reasons that I may have alluded to earlier. But let me know what you would like to see out of all of this. And of course, as I say, let me know if you've seen any of these and whether you would rate these, and do you think I've got a good deal? I think I've got a brilliant deal. But I will say goodbye and ask that you join me again next time for my next Blu-ray unboxing, whenever that might be. Cheers, everyone. See ya!